Here are the crypto top headlines covered in this video. SEC moves to drop debt box case for now after sanctions threats. Next, GBTC outflows drop 70% from peak as Bitcoin exchanges shed BTC. Also, Polygon Labs proposes framework to classify DeFi as critical infrastructure. Welcome to Crypto Top Headlines, where there's no clickbait thumbnails or titles, and no speeches on my opinions, just bringing crypto's news to you. We are a new channel here on YouTube, and would greatly appreciate it if you would click on the like and subscribe buttons, as well as the notification bell. It does help support the channel, so thank you in advance for doing so. Now, on to these headlines. Our first top headline, SEC moves to drop debt box case for now after sanctions threats. The SEC told the court that while it made a mistake, dismissing these charges should be the only sanctions they face. After the threat of court sanctions, the Securities and Exchange Commission has decided to drop charges, at least for now, against Digital Licensing Inc., which operates under the name DebtBox. In November, Federal Judge Robert Shelby ordered SEC attorneys to explain why they shouldn't be sanctioned by the court after presenting what he regarded as false and misleading evidence in their attempt to bring a temporary restraining order, or TRO, against DebtBox and other defendants. The SEC was granted a TRO in August 2023 following the evidence presentation. In a brief filed Tuesday, the SEC said that it made a mistake and will work to ensure these errors do not happen again. The securities regulator asked the judge to accept a motion to dismiss the action without prejudice, which will be forthcoming as the only penalty against the SEC. While the Commission recognizes that its attorneys should have been more forthcoming with the court, sanctions are not appropriate or necessary to address those issues, the SEC wrote in the Tuesday filing. If the court were to determine that some sanction is warranted, it should decline to impose a penalty beyond dismissal without prejudice. Dismissal without prejudice leaves the door open for the SEC to refile charges against the defendants down the line. The SEC, Shelby alleged in the November 30th order, deceived the court by incorrectly stating that the defendants had closed bank accounts and attempted to move funds overseas. The comments were enough to grant and later renew a 10-day TRO which froze the defendants' assets. Commission counsel made a representation during the July 28, 2023 hearing that, unbeknownst to him at the time, was inaccurate. The SEC wrote in a December filing responding to Shelby's claims. Commission attorneys failed to correct the statement when they learned of the inaccuracy. The filing comes roughly 2 weeks after attorneys for DebtBox asked the court to sanction the SEC for its wrongdoing and dropped the case entirely, citing substantial personal and financial damages that resulted from the court-granted restraining order. Defendants say the TRO shut down the crypto firm, resulting in a complete disruption for around 300,000 users in more than 130 countries. DebtBox's native token crashed more than 56%, defendants added. Defendants Jason Anderson, Jacob Anderson, Shad Brannon, and Royden Nelson, known as the Debt Council, and sole controllers of the platform, according to the SEC, had personal and business assets frozen by the restraining order. The individuals were unable to pay employees, loans were canceled, and credit card companies and banks refused to work with them as a result, defendants said in a January 12th filing. The SEC, in its Tuesday filing, said any additional sanctions, including dismissal with prejudice, would be too extreme a punishment. The agency said it is continuing to take steps to address the issues the court identified and to identify any other issues that may warrant further consideration. Experienced trial attorneys from the SEC's Denver regional office have also stepped in, the SEC said, to review Shelby's allegations. Richard Hong, partner at Morrison Cohen and representing Debtbox, declined to comment. Let me pause here for a moment. If you're getting value out of this video, please click on the like and subscribe buttons as well as the notification bell. Our next top headline, GBTC outflows drop 70% from peak as Bitcoin exchanges shed BTC. Bitcoin ETFs, including GBTC, may soon begin to record net inflows, data suggests, as exchanges' BTC balances revert to their downtrend. Bitcoin exchange outflows in January are chipping away at bearish BTC price prognosis. The latest data from on-chain analytics firm Glassnode confirms that despite a 20% dip on BTC/USD, coins have continued to leave exchanges. Data: Bitcoin ETF panic subsiding. Bitcoin investor appetite has not suffered as a result of current BTC price pressures, according to on-chain monitoring. Per Glassnode, outflows from United States exchange Coinbase alone have consistently totaled more than 10,000 BTC per day since the launch of the first U.S. spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds. While balance data shows the impact of corresponding inflows, a trend is nonetheless emerging in the second half of the month. Outflows and inflows are becoming more balanced, suggesting a cooling of the volatility seen post-ETF launch on January 11th. Exchanges' BTC balances had been rising throughout January, only reversing direction on January 23rd. Since that date, the trading platforms tracked by Glassnode have become lighter to the tune of 7,400 BTC. GBTC inches toward flow flippening. At the same time, ETF flows themselves are also trending in Bitcoin bulls' favor. Whereas the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, or GBTC, was sending around $700 million in BTC to Coinbase per day previously, the latest daily outflows totaled less than $200 million. In BTC terms, January 25th saw 24,000 BTC in outflows, while January 29th saw little over 6,000 BTC. Analyzing GBTC flows using data from statistics resource CoinGlass, financial commentator TED Talks Macro predicted an incoming flip for the spot ETFs from net outflows to net inflows. Once we start to see green on this chart, what narrative do you have to sell other than some unknown event that we don't know about now? He argued in his latest YouTube video. TED Talks Macro described the bearishness accompanying GBTC outflows in recent weeks as overblown. $26 billion in on-chain holdings in these BTC ETFs, and that number is going to keep going higher and higher and higher as people get more comfortable with this asset class, he forecast about worldwide ETF products. Our next top headline, Polygon Labs proposes framework to classify DeFi as critical infrastructure. Decentralized finance protocols should be seen as critical infrastructure to the United States national and economic security, according to Polygon's legal team. Neutral decentralized finance, or DeFi, protocols should be designated as critical infrastructure and overseen by federal cybersecurity agencies in the United States, according to a newly proposed regulatory framework from the legal team behind Polygon Labs. On January 29th, Rebecca Rettig and Katja Gilman from Polygon Labs and Michael Mosier, co-founder of emergent technology law firm Arcturus, published a conceptual framework for combating illicit finance activity in decentralized finance. The 45-page paper suggests designating truly decentralized DeFi protocols as critical infrastructure, which would be overseen by the U.S. Treasury's Office of Cybersecurity and Critical Infrastructure Protection, OCCIP. The OCCIP is not an official financial regulator, but coordinates the Treasury Department's efforts to enhance the security and resilience of the financial services sector's critical infrastructure and reduce operational risk. It works closely with finance firms, industry groups, and government partners to share information about cybersecurity, threats, and vulnerabilities. However, the paper noted that not all DeFi protocols are truly decentralized, and some have significant points of centralization, which should make them subject to existing financial regulations. Meanwhile, the team has also proposed creating a new category of critical communications transmitters that interact with and are integral to genuine DeFi systems as part of the new legal framework. These entities would have to undertake certain tailored obligations to help protect U.S. national and economic security without becoming financial institutions subject to the Bank Secrecy Act it suggested. The proposed framework also identified centralized finance, or TradFi, as separate with independent control based on guidance from the U.S. Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. In a post on social media platform X, crypto industry lawyer Jake Chervinsky commented that headlines about securities and commodities laws often dominate policy conversations regarding the digital asset industry. However, in Washington, D.C., policymakers are much more concerned about illicit finance than anything else, he said before adding, "This could be the start of a real solution." The authors concluded that in the urgency to stop illicit activity, we must not forget the important and fundamental goal to empower good activity, which anchors the Treasury's mandate of promoting economic prosperity and ensuring the financial security of the United States. So this concludes our top headlines. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to click on the like and subscribe buttons, as well as the notification bell. Also, leave your thoughts in the comments and share this video with your friends and family. Thank you all for watching Crypto Top Headlines, bringing crypto's news to you.